inside another dimension, face battling barbarians and evil magic on a quest for adventure in a maze of monsters. Once you get into it, you'll never be the same. Hero Quest. Now with 2 new adventure packs, the legend grows.
Hi, welcome back to Not Your Mother's Hobbies. Today we are looking at the Swordsman from Hero Quest Frozen Horror expansion. This guy is one of the mercenaries. There's 4 types. This is the second one we're doing. Check him out here. Pretty nice sculpt. I'm not a fan of the big old chunky sword. Kind of wish it looked different, but hey, whatever. Let's get to it. So like I had mentioned in the previous video, if you've been following along, we're going to use a lot of the same colors that we did before, and we're just going to apply them into the new different areas. So he's got armor. We're going to do basilicanum gray for all those steel armor spots, right? So he's got some different ones than the last model. And we're just going to tuck in there and get them all. It's going to be the pauldrons, the chest plate, the knee pads, all that good stuff. Don't forget about the sword. Got to get that big sucker. And yeah, so cover them all in your basilicanum or speed paint, dark gray, whatever you got, and that'll be your base coat. You can see here I'm not being too clean about the guard. You could. I wasn't. I kind of spaced out. I had to come back and clean it up later. So keep that guard for gold later. But yeah, here we go. Wildwood. We're doing that on his he's got chainmail underneath, but I didn't want to make it metallic. So instead we're following along like we did with our previous colors, and this is going to be his undercoat is wildwood. You'll see what we do to differentiate it from the halberdiers later on in the layering steps. So Gore-Grunta fur here for his first bit of leather. Just like the other one, we're doing the gloves and all the belts is going to be this Gore-Grunta. It's going to be flashy and orange and bright and really stand out against the model. We got Wraithbone, as usual, coming in to touch anything up, like his little tasset here, his little booties. He's got a buckle that I painted over. At this point, I could have touched up the sword hilt, but I didn't. Yeah, so just touch up with that color. And snakebite leather. Here we got another leather for the boots. This will seem familiar if you did the halberdiers. And we're also going to do the trim of his tasset. Okay, so that's the line on the outside. The little decorative line, as well as the folds underneath the belt that pop out. Blood Angel's red for his little crotch loincloth. I know that's not in the art, but I really wanted a unifying color for all these guys. You could also mix the colors up and make them all different colors to differentiate who's buying what mercenary. Agrax Earthshade for his tasset kind of material on the inside, as well as, don't forget, his little booty cuffs. Don't want to forget about those, because I did, and I had to do them later. Black Templar here is for his hair, because we're doing this guy up like the art. Our example guy is going to be like the art, and he's dark-skinned with dark hair. So we're using this Black Templar, or any black that you got, for the hair. Cygor Brown coming up for the skin. There's not a lot of skin on this guy. So just be careful, I guess, of the little hand wraps, his little gauntlets and gloves, and near the chest. And you just squeeze in there and get his face and his little fingies and hands and stuff. Onto the layering. We're going to start with Wraithbone here, coming back in, and we're going to do the booty cuffs, as well as his tassets, his little cloth-like bits, right? So one thing you might have noticed from the last video, and that I'm doing in this one, especially with the booty cuffs, is we're not painting everything in. We're just doing the most raised bits and kind of painting in the illusion of some detail. Anything that's dark and remained black is just going to be deep, deep shadow. And then anything on top is going to be our big prominent highlight. It's going to be very striking and very contrasted, as well as saving you time. Coming in here with our Rakarth Flesh. Now, because he has that chainmail texture, we're just going to stipple on our highlights. All right. You can do this in a couple different layers to really boost it and pop it out. Or you can just do one simple layer of stippling. It does take some time, but it's going to give you a really cool effect. So if you can do 2 layers and really bump it up and pop it, that's great. If you can only do 1 and you feel like you're done, that's awesome too. You could also just dry brush, drag it across like that, and you'll get some of that texture out too. I did all 3 because I really wanted to boost his booty and make that kind of chainmail undershirt stand out. Using gunmetal like we always do to go over the dark gray parts and just layer up from there. I will note that also, just like the booty cuffs, we're only touching the most raised parts and we're leaving like the really dark shadow. I'm not even touching the black dark shadow underneath his body. I'm only doing the top half of these the silver on here, and the rest is just gray and black. It's all gonna blend in and look like beaten up metal, which is good for a mercenary. He's seen some battles. We got Retributor armor here. Now remember, you could have done the Gulliman flesh treatment like we usually do. I just totally forgot. And hey, look, if you forget, just put that gold on top. No one's gonna know. Your secret is definitely safe with me. You can make mistakes and just paint over. Here you can see I'm doing my normal technique of metal, and we're just slapping on that gloss. This is what's going to tie in those dark gray and black areas and make them still look like they're the metallics, right? That's the secret sauce, right? That's how we do it fast and still make it look badass. Here we are coming in with our first layer of highlights. We're doing Blood Reaver flesh. This is going to clean up some of the pooling, and we're going to add some medium tones to his flesh. Really make his skin start to stand out and look a lot brighter and stand out from the black of his hair. That Cygaro brown is very rich in red, but also hyper dark. So we want to get that brought back up. Nightquester flesh here. Put this on the little fingies, the knuckles, right? We're just tightening up our highlight here. Business as usual. Take your time. Make sure you get those fingies to separate. And then same with his face. Make sure you get those lips separate. You know, try again if you make mistakes. But he's got facial hair and whatnot, and his shoulders right up in his face. So just get the most prominent parts. You got this. Just take your time. We're going to use Bugman's Glow here. This is something I was experimenting with on the Balrog miniature, and I really liked it. I thought it brought out some details, so I put it on his lip. Now we're going to really see his mouth pop out a lot better in detail, right, than the initial highlights did. I think it looks a little more realistic too. We got the chrome coming up, and we're just going to pippy-pop that all over the place, little ping, ping, ping here and there. What you can do that you might notice in this video is you can angle your miniature so you get light shining off of them, and you can just paint the chrome where you see the light, baby! Look at those cheats, those hacks, man. So if you don't know where to go, that gloss is gonna really make things shine, and then you just do it. You just copy it. Copy what you see. Sword here, just trying something different. I did down the side, little jagged marks, both sides, all over the place, just jagged little marks to look like wear and tear. Came out okay. McCrag Blue, this is something new. You're going to see how we highlight some dark hair. We're going to do a kind of 90s Uncanny X-Men Claremont era highlight here for the dark hair. I think it looks badass. We're doing blue where you want your initial highlights to go. You can do like a crown or a ring around his head, like the top lights coming off. And then we take white as our utmost highlight, and we just blop it in there. Just little gentle swoopy stripy swipes like we would do on the blonde hair or whatever, except instead of doing lighter stages of browns or yellows, we're doing it with blue and then white. Then you just base as normal and you're all finished. There you have it. Our swordsman. I am really digging to highlight dark hair like this. I love it. I think it adds so much like personality to it. I think it looks really awesome to do dark hair like this. Maybe not all the time, But going forward, I'm totally going to use it more often. And guess what? That bold titanium white was the kickoff, baby. It's so easy to control. So nice to get little thin stripies on there, little precision marks. Oh, it's so good. I wouldn't have thought to do it like that if I hadn't got that paint. Here we can see the variant that I did to differentiate the guys. I was doing different skin tones and stuff. We got some white hair here. He's an older gentleman. We got some pale skin. Looking pretty fly. Really like how these guys came out. You can see the sword there. I did a different technique. I just did dry brush right across. And same thing here on this guy's sword. I did a little just dry brushy across. I thought it looked a little nicer, a little cleaner. You can see this guy's another kind of pale skin guy, but we got brown hair this time. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty. And that's the swordsman done. That's all three of them. That's how you can really make them stand out against each other if you want to do skin tones to do it. Remember, you can do different colors on their little loincloth areas to differentiate them. You could do just a color on the rim, paint them all the same color, same skin tone, same whatever, make them all identical, and just paint the rim a different color. Anything you want to do. I chose to do skin colors. I wanted them to look regimented. So that's how I did it, and this is how you could do it. I hope you guys are enjoying the Frozen Horror coverage so far, and that each individual mercenary getting their time to shine isn't too overwhelming, because I know that their colors are the same, but I hope it's different enough that you guys get some juice out of it. Let me know in the comments down below how your painting journey is going. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, hit the bloopy doopies, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!